Okay, time for another episode of the Nerdy Virgin podcast. My name is Joshua Snyder, and this is my podcast. And if you're new to this, if you're just tuning in, if you're just joining us, basically this is what this is. I am a stand-up comedian, and I love doing stand-up, and it's the only way I feel like I want to express myself right now in my life. And my dream is to make a living doing stand-up and, only doing stand-up or, doing stand-up and, I don't know, Bitcoin, because that seems to be the hot thing. I've got a Bitcoin. I don't have a Bitcoin. But basically, this is what I want to do for a living. And, when comedians get really big, there's always stories about like Chappelle or Chris Rock. They drop into the Comedy Store, or they drop into a comedy club, and they just do an hour, sometimes two, and they go up there and they're just talking. It's not that they're really just talking; they're developing material, but they're going up and they're talking through it, and they have the time to talk through it, and they discover things on stage and what have you. So it's not, when they do this, when they just drop in like this, they don't have necessarily a complete 1 hour set. It's not like what they're putting on Netflix. They're exploring. And I am not big enough as a comedian to drop into a comedy club and just do an hour. And the other thing is I love to do this, and I'm not always able to get up and do it, even unless I go to an open mic or what have you. So this is me just doing an hour, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Hopefully I'll enjoy it. I realize that I have to let go of I think the only way to achieve my dreams in a weird Zen sort of way is to let go of them. And my thought is, if I want to do an hour, if this is really what I want to do, then I need to do an hour. And I need to do all the things that comedians need to do to, I need to build a following, and I need to, get out there and get on shows and that kind of thing. But this is where I do an hour, and the question is, can I make myself laugh? And can I enjoy this for the sake of enjoying it? And maybe in the process come up with something that I would then try out in front of people, and then eventually it becomes part of the act. So that's what this is. This is me doing an hour off of nothing. And if you're still listening after this pitch, if that sales pitch has made you go, tell me more, you're in the right place. If, on the other hand, you've listened to that and you've gone, okay, he's going to just talk at length for an hour about nothing and have nowhere to go and have nothing prepared, I'll hit the next podcast. Thank you. Then by all means, do what you got to do. You got to take care of yourself. You've got to take care of yourself. Self-care, everybody. Self-care. And today I thought what I would do is I would go to this website called darkhorizons.com, which displays news about movies, typically sci-fi movies, that kind of thing. And I want to just go through those and see if something comes to me. So the first article, Bond on track despite MGM sales talk. So I guess Amazon might want to purchase MGM, and I guess they're saying it won't affect the release of the new James Bond movie, which I probably won't see. It's not that I don't like James Bond. It's not that I don't like James Bond. I just it doesn't take place on a spaceship, except Moonraker. That was the sci-fi James Bond one. That was fun to watch. And it it's not sci-fi, and I kind of go, I don't know. Espionage and spy stuff. I don't know. I just, what about it? It doesn't move me the way science fiction moves me. It just, this country's spying on this other country, and we got to stop this evil villain from evil villain as opposed to a good villain. Yes, there was Goldfinger, but there was also Bronzefinger, and he, frankly, well, he was just more of an annoying guy. He didn't really try to take over the world. He tried to. He only wanted to take over a third of the world. Bronzefinger. I'm Bronzefinger. I'm Bronzefinger. I like bronze, not the most expensive metal. I want to carve out a piece of the world for myself. And I don't even have to own it. I don't even have to own the world. The third of the world. I don't. It can be mostly water. That's fine. Just when you're driving through my waters, you don't even have to pay a toll. Just know that it's my waters. I just want recognition. That's all I want. I just want recognition. That's it. It doesn't even have to be a nice third of the. It can be Antarctica. It can be parts of the world. I'm not going to build anything, I promise. And even if I do build something, it won't be more than 3 stories, so it won't affect any views. I'm Bronzefinger. Bronzefinger. He doesn't want to be a bother to you. James Bond is wearing in one of the advertisements for the new James Bond movie. This was, I think, up on the billboards a year ago. He's riding on a motorcycle and he's wearing this watch, and it's this distinctive watch that probably the watch company paid to have him wear the watch in the movie. He's he's not wearing a helmet, but he's wearing the watch. So he doesn't mind smashing his brains against the pavement, but he'll know what time. He'll know what time he ripped off half of his skin when the motorcycle crashes. And I don't know, the stunts. I don't know the stunts. I don't care about the stunts. I don't believe the stunts. I don't believe that a person can do those things. I know that it's a movie. I don't get into it. It doesn't amaze me. I don't find it death-defying. Whether they're real or whether they're computer generated, the stunts just I don't know. I know Tom Cruise isn't big onto stunts, and yet all my favorite Tom Cruise moments are when he's kind of goofy, or when he's vulnerable. Those are I enjoy those moments when he's like the Edge of Tomorrow. That was a good movie, and the arc that he had in that movie was terrific. Did all the special effects, whatever, but he when he I like him when he's funny. He has a sense of humor. He can be funny, and I enjoy those moments. Or Tropic Thunder was great. That's what I enjoy. Him hanging off a plane, or he's going to do a movie where he's going to fly into space and they're going to shoot the thing in space. Or Top Gun, they're showing Top Gun, and he's really in the plane. They're really in the plane in Top Gun, and I'm seeing his cheeks ripple with the G-force, and I'm sitting here thinking, I already like Tom Cruise. You don't need to prove anything, Tom. Take a break, Tom. You're man. It's fun. We believe that you're in the plane. It's all right. We know it's a movie. We know we believe it. It's okay. You don't need to hurt yourself. Stop trying to hurt yourself. We believe it. But back to James Bond, and I am just not. The other thing about James Bond seems really lonely to me, and maybe it's too close to home. Maybe, he doesn't have a sidekick. There are characters that kind of are there to help him, but there's, he's lonely. And I don't know why, but oddly, James Bond seems more lonely to me than Batman. That's a surprise. Even without, even if you take Robin out of the equation, Batman, like James Bond, it seems like there's denial there. Like he's lonely, but he's denying it. Batman is like, no, I know I've got problems. I know I've got problems. I know. I'm tracking it. I'm aware of my problems. I'm aware of it. When I'm punching you in the face, I know that I am channeling my depression through your face hole. I know. I'm aware. But maybe that's another part of it. I don't like. I think specifically a moment in a James Bond movie where he's about to die and the situation is really peril. Like there was one of, it was the, I think it was the Sean Connery one where he's in Vegas, and there's a moment where they throw him in a casket, and they push the casket into the cremation fire, and he's got to escape from the casket. And that scene really freaked me out a little bit. I don't know if it was, maybe part of it was the claustrophobia of being trapped and set on fire, but that image really stayed with me and freaked me out. And it was really creepy. Versus Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where Harrison Ford and Sean Connery are tied up together, and they're suddenly surrounded by fire. But there's banter. There's banter. If there's not witty banter, it's too creepy for me. And James Bond, there's no, James Bond doesn't have to, I guess what I want a James Bond buddy cop movie, I guess. And I want the other guy to be the opposite of James Bond. James Bond needs to team up with Martin Short. I would pay money to watch that. That I would pay money to see. Martin Short, who I think Martin Short's underrated as far as I'm concerned. They don't know, like, he was so good in Inner Space. Why isn't Inner Space more well loved? Why? I don't understand it. Makes me wonder if there is a God that Inner Space is not more well loved. Okay, all right. I think I've covered enough James Bond topics. Let's see. I didn't even read this one. Okay, Platt responds to Evan Hansen trailer jabs. Reaction was mixed at best to the trailer. I guess they're saying that the guy the actor's 27 and he's playing someone in high school, and I guess they're saying he looks too old to play the character, and he doesn't look realistic enough. This is a musical, by the way, and he doesn't really look 15. And there's some, I guess there's some blowback because he doesn't really look 15 in this musical about a 15-year-old. Has anyone? I'm sorry. How many CW shows do any of those people look remotely 15 years old? Beverly Hills 90210 was. Could have been 30-something. That's what that show could have been. This is what people are complaining about at this moment. He doesn't actually look 15. It's taking me out of the movie. Oh, you're saying I'm sorry. The part where they start breaking into song, that you can believe. But he doesn't look 15 years old. That's too much. But I know he's got to really look 15 in order for me to believe that he is 15 in this story in which, out of nowhere, people will break out into songs. I can't even. Is he a good actor? Why don't we figure that out? Oh, let's do some quick news. Dungeons. What's the quick news on Dungeons? They're doing a Dungeons and Dragons movie, which is always weird to me because it's based on the board game. So they're making a movie based on the board game, but and Hugh Grant's in it. Ooh. Well, if Hugh Grant's in it, that changes everything. But the question is Hugh Grant playing the quintessential Hugh Grant role in this Dungeons and Dragons movie? Just the, slightly befuddled but hopelessly charming owner of a bookstore who gets pulled in. I'm good. Did you say they were dragons? Goodness, I wasn't aware that they were. I wasn't aware that there were dragons here. That's not at all what I was expecting. I'm terribly sorry. I did not know that there were dragons. And is this? Excuse me. Is this a dungeon? Are we in a dungeon right now? I apologize. No, I'm not the reason why we're here, but I still feel compelled to apologize for being here. I'm terribly sorry that there's a dungeon here, and apparently there are dragons. That's such a. I think that, excuse me. I think there's been a misunderstanding. You see, I was not aware that there were dungeons or dragons, and I own a bookshop over in Notting Hill, and I think I've been placed in the wrong genre. There you go, guys. Terrible impression of Hugh Grant on a very hacky take on Hugh Grant in a Dungeons and Dragons movie. This is very terrible. There's a reason why. Maybe there's a reason why I'm performing in front of 0 people right now. Maybe, has that dawned on anyone? But I think that now that I think about it, like the name Dungeons and Dragons. So I get the alliteration. I get the alliterative part, but it just seems like a very and we get from the title Dungeons and Dragons that it's medieval, it's medieval fairy tale fantasy magic. But just the two things together, other than the alliterative element. What's on your to-do list today? I've got Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, I gotta build a dungeon, and then we've got to put a dragon in it. Wow. Okay, that's a big to-do list. No, it's only 2 things. It's 2 big things: Dungeons and Dragons. Oh my. Sorry, I keep thinking of Hugh Grant. Yes, I'm sorry. Did you say dragons? Did you say dragons? Dragons here. Dragons. Goodness, I was not prepared for dragons. I thought that this was I thought this was a place that served pasta. All right, good. Well, I don't know why Hugh Grant's not the lead of this thing. I don't get that. Actually, you know what they're probably doing with him in this? That'll be brilliant. They're probably, if he's the bad guy or he's something against type where he's the opposite of what I just described, then it will be brilliant. But you know what? Even if he is Hugh Grant, playing his 90s romantic comedy Hugh Grant, who's just lost in a Dungeons and Dragons game. Excuse me. Can you help me get out of here? Goodness, I know about travel books. That's all I really know about. I've been to Scotland. Has that helped? Great. Okay. All right. Here's some other quick news. Netflix is reportedly looking to hire an executive to oversee video games division. Boy, Netflix is just gonna take over everything. Wow. Take over everything. Yes, we're hiring an executive to do a game division. We're also hiring another executive to get into weapons. Sorry, what? You mean like What, like war movies? No, actual weapons. Netflix is going into the arms business. We're going to, we're diversifying our portfolio. We're developing, 3 new comedy specials for Dave Chappelle and tactical nuclear missiles. Actually, the same executive is overseeing both of them. It's, we're a multifaceted company. Titans. They're going to do a season 3 of Titans. I started watching season 2 of Titans, and I don't know. I'm really into Titans. I'm into it. I'm into what they're doing. As if on cue, episode 3 of season 2, or maybe episode 4, 3 or 4, flashback episode. They always do this. They have a 10-episode season. There's always a flashback episode, and lo and behold, flashback episode featuring Aqualad. Aqualad, by the way, playing a character who I don't know, maybe he's 19 or 20, and the guy looks 35. And where are the Dear Evan Hansen people for Titans? Huh? Where? Should knock it off. Watch the musical. Be quiet. It's fine. We can't watch Wicked. Why not? Because I don't think Elphaba's a real witch. I don't think they cast a real witch with real powers. I think it's someone in makeup. Unbelievable. Let us judge, my friends, the quality of the performance. Let us judge that. And let us, maybe that, that's the thing. I mean, going back to this Evan Hansen thing, let's really examine this. Okay, he doesn't look 15. And it's pulling me out of the movie that he doesn't look 15. But why? I think the trouble there is that maybe that's just not the style. Maybe it's not realism. There are, and I think the article even mentioned this. There's a show like Pen 15 where the 2 main characters are playing people in middle school, but they're in their 30s or something. And it's, can't we have an imagination about this? It's a musical. It's already heightened. It's not real. That just grinds my gears. All right. So now I want to get back to Titans, though, because I'm noticing this in the second season of Titans. There's a lot of action, and they're not wearing costumes in the action sequences. They're not wearing the costumes in they're fighting bad guys, and they're not wearing the costumes. There's a lot of we're just wearing a black leather jacket, and we have these Bluetooths that we can use to communicate with each other. But we're not wearing listen, if you're going to be Hawk and Dove, I expect you to dress like a hawk and a dove. Or don't call yourselves Hawk and Dove. I'm sorry, is this a superhero show or is this a police procedural? And Robin is no longer Robin. I think they're developing this arc where he becomes Nightwing. And my thing is, if you're not Robin, you still need to wear something that is a superhero costume of some kind. You can't walk around in a leather jacket. I'm not buying it, my friends. I am not buying it. Well, look at this. Look at this, everybody. We're 23 minutes into this podcast. How am I feeling? How am I feeling so far about this? Well, the Hugh Grant bit tickled me. I don't know if it would tickle anyone else, but it tickled me. My Titans complaint, I'm feeling good about that. That's all right. Beyond that though, but am I saying anything about the human condition? Am I revealing my emotions? I bet it's been actually a bad week for me. I've been really depressed, and I don't feel comfortable talking about the specifics about this right now. But if I were to zoom out, I think whenever something happens in my life where I don't feel like I'm in control, something bad happens, it launches me into a depression. And I actually talked to a therapist, and her take on it was, I think it's whenever I feel my sense of belonging is threatened. That's where the depression really hits. My sense of belonging is threatened. And I wasn't aware. And, she's right. I want to belong. I want to belong. And I realize that I need people to survive. I need deeper relationships than the relationships that I have. I need to cultivate those relationships and have that and actually interact with people, and maintain the relationships I already have, and talk to people. That's what I have to do. Probably what I shouldn't be doing is talking to myself and recording it. That's probably the opposite of what I should be doing when I need to connect with other people. But you know what? It's an intermediate step. I'm putting this out there so somebody might be able to hear it. So for me, that's an enormous step forward. Usually, I would talk to myself without recording it, and where would that go? What would that accomplish? But this could go viral. All right. So back to Dark Horizons. Interesting. Very interesting. Dungeons and Dragons. Great. Well, hopefully it's a good movie. Hopefully. Cuarón and Rodriguez out of CBS's Bull. I don't even know what. Glenn Gordon Caron. Oh, not Cuarón. Glenn Gordon Caron. I think that was the Moonlighting guy. Showrunner on CBS drama Bull has exited the series, and it ended his deal with CBS Studios. The exit follows in the wake of a workplace investigation into the series triggered by multiple writing staff departing after production wrapped for the 5th season. Declined to comment on the circumstances. Sources claim the exit is due to an alleged disrespectful work environment fostered during his tenure. He marks the latest in a string of CBS showrunners to step down in recent weeks over conduct issues and concerns over leadership styles. Wow. See, this, I don't know. I read this and this makes me depressed. It does. This doesn't help with my depression. This notion that there's all this strife going on. Because Moonlighting was a great show, right? And this guy, supposedly, I think he created Moonlighting. So it'd be really, it's a shame if... You know what? Like, how do I put this? How do I put this? What do I want to say about this? It's depressing. I don't want to read this. This is what, it's depressing to know that there's strife out there. I mean, I guess there's strife everywhere. I mean, there's strife in my own life. There's strife where I work. There's, hopefully not the level of strife that, I hope I'm not causing this strife. I mean, I feel horrible if people felt threatened by me in any way. Utterly horrible. I don't know how that's possible. I don't think I'm a particularly threatening person. And if anyone ever has felt threatened, I feel horrible and very, very sorry that you found me a threat, and you should totally not find me a threat. I live in a tiny garage, a converted garage that doesn't even have its own water heater. You should not at all find me threatening. And I have a herniated disc, and I do nothing. I do nothing physical, and I have somehow slipped a disc, or I have a slipped disc. Why did the disc slip? There was no movement of any. I have not moved really since insemination. So please, if you feel threatened by me, do not feel threatened by me. If we met in a dark alley, you would easily be able to defeat me. Easily. Please do not feel threatened by me. I have no power whatsoever. I still haven't gotten my new license plate. I need to get a new license plate because one of them was stolen. I still haven't gotten it. I don't know what to do. Terrifying. Well, I don't. Very sad. Very sad, this. Let's see. Set picks. Wahlberg goes heavy and shaved in stew. Oh wow, he is really heavy and shaved. This is yeah. He has transformed. And I can't even tell if that's real weight or if that's is that a suit? I can't even tell. Goodness. Crazy. He looks he really does not look like Mark Wahlberg. And what threw me is that in this article I'm reading, the top picture is a picture of Mark Wahlberg in I think in The Departed, and he looks normal. And I'm like, well, I don't really see that he's lost weight. And then at the bottom, oh yeah, looks totally different. He's really. And I got to say, by the way, if that is one thing, mad props to actors and actresses who drastically alter their body to play a role, whether it's gaining weight, losing weight, whatever. I would be terrified to do that because it sounds like, there's the potential for a ton of health problems, especially if you have to gain weight. Like it looks, I always fantasized, I want to be an actor, I want to play the superheroes. But when I read about what a lot of these people have to go through, I think even Ben Affleck playing Batman, he had to bulk up and, all the work he had to do. That looks, for months. You got to do all that training for months so that they can put him in this gigantic costume, and then he's standing in front of a green screen and everything is computer generated. I almost feel like we're 5 to 10 years away from they can just create a photorealistic human body and Ben Affleck can just come in and do the voice. I feel like we're 5 years away from that. And all this work and bulking up and blah, blah, blah. And then you look at, everything Zack Snyder's doing, which, is great. But it's so visually stylized that it's almost like, and he was, it's funny because his take on Batman, he was really pulling from The Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller graphic novel, which, the artwork and the way that Batman is depicted in that graphic novel is so heavily stylized. He doesn't even look like it's a hyper exaggerated, hyper masculine looking creature that doesn't even look like a human being. They, at that rate, they almost may as well just have animated it and just had him do the voice. I would not want to do that. I would not want to change my body in any way. And fortunately, from what I've seen, Hollywood not knocking down my door. They're not asking. So I don't have to worry about that for Hollywood's sake. I don't have to worry about that. by the way, my neuroses now. I'm terrified. What if someone thinks I'm intimidating now, or if what if someone is afraid of me based on that article that I was just reading? This is why I shouldn't be doing this alone as a podcast, because all of this, every single time I've recorded a podcast the last few weeks, it just descends into me feeling guilty. That's my go-to move. Yeah, so we've taken Joshua Snyder and we've made him a character in Street Fighter, and if you hit down, right punch, he just feels guilty. And no, it doesn't hurt the other character. The other character just kind of. What we do in Street Fighter, the Josh character in Street Fighter, if I were to be a character in Street Fighter, I would just start punching myself, because I'm such a control freak over my life. I don't want you to hurt me. I'll hurt myself so you can't. So I would just throw a fireball into my own face, and then Ryu would just be staring at me going, well, I guess I win. And I'm sitting there, bleeding, half dead, going, no, it's, I'm not going to let you have the satisfaction. I'm going to beat myself up. Flawless victory. That's a Mortal Kombat note. That is a Mortal Kombat term, flawless victory. I'd like to apologize. That's not a Street Fighter term. That is a Mortal Kombat term. Lo siento, my friends. Lo siento. Okay, should we read more articles? Dare I read more articles? All right, well, Mark Wahlberg, good for you. Good for you, Mark Wahlberg. Bacon talks the Tremors exception. I read this already. This is Kevin Bacon. I think he was saying of all the movies that he made, he wants to make, if he could make another, like a sequel, it would be Tremors, which Tremors is a phenomenal film, by the way. Tremors was, I remember I saw that for the first time. It was on TV, and I was just watching it at home one day, and it was just, I'm kind of surprised they haven't done a sequel for that yet. It was, and I think there was something about Kevin Bacon, and what was the name of the other guy? Do they say in the article? I should Google it. The two leads in that, just the interplay that they had, what I loved is that they were just these two regular guys, who were not action heroes, and they're, everyone in this town is being thrust in this situation, and how, how they all played it, and it was a horror, but kind of a comedy, but not a parody per se, not a parody, but these monsters are attacking these, this town of kind of kooky people. I would like to see a sequel of Tremors. But the only thing that would be better, this is going to be hacky. I'm warning you right now. A hacky premise is coming your way. The only thing better than a Tremors sequel is a crossover between Tremors and Footloose, starring Kevin Bacon. Nothing would be better. We just want to dance. No, don't do any movement on the floor. Don't do any rhythm movement. You're going to attract the creature. You can't tell us to stop dancing. We want to express ourselves. No, you can express yourselves later. Don't do it. I told you it was going to be a hacky premise. I warned you that it was going to be a hacky premise, people. Okay. F9. Okay, here's where my obsessive-compulsive kicks in, because whenever I think of Fast and Furious, I think of Paul Walker, who died in that horrible car accident, and then I go, I don't want to die in a car accident. That's what my brain... that's because that's how my brain works. Well, if you think it, if you see it, it might happen to you. Who designed my brain? How did this happen? This is where evolution makes the most sense to me, because even intelligent design, I think we're here because of billions of years of accidents, and this brain that I have, this isn't an intelligent design. This is, of all the genetics, these were apparently the stronger ones. These were the winners. Uh-oh, I thought it. What if it happens because I thought it? Yeah, really good working brain. Now, what I find what I'm reading about now, which is so fascinating, is how important the Chinese box office is, and how I think it's bigger than the United States box office. And they're saying the new Fast movie climbed to the top at China's box office, and that's. I think that's affecting the kind of movies that are made as well. They've got to make sure, well, will this movie work for the Chinese box office? And it's really interesting to... maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but growing up in the 90s, and I don't know if this was the truth or maybe this was what was told to us, but there was such a sense of we are on top. It was, we won the Cold War. We are now the dominant superpower. And now the narrative has shifted. And now what it feels like is being told to us is we're still on top. We're still on top. But the reality is we're not on top anymore. We're not. China's on top. That seems to be more the reality. Maybe China was always on top. I don't know. China... It's been around for a long time. And all this anti-China hate and all that really irks me because, first of all, no one country is all good or all bad. And second of all, we all need to be working together to survive. I think we have to work together to survive. We do. I mean, the pandemic proves that. We don't work together, and then we get... different countries respond in different ways, and it only makes it worse. And I wish that we could cooperate and, be friends and learn from each other and accept each other and love each other. I don't want to do any of this personally. I want all of you to do it and not talk to me. If we can do that, I'd be happy with that. That would be great. We all love each other, and we all make peace, and we're all, one. We're all one unified human family. But I still really only want to just record these podcasts and then you listen to them and you feel what you feel about it. But then I just don't want to talk to you personally. That's my utopia. I don't know what yours is. But that's totally mine. Oh my gosh, 43 minutes into this. My aim is to make this a 50-minute podcast, people. My aim is to make this a 50-minute podcast. So I can call it an hour podcast. It's a little... Oh, you know what? I've totally forgot. Imaginary sponsors. I'm depressed that I don't have real sponsors, so I just make up sponsors. I make up imaginary sponsors for the podcast. I'm sure I'm not the first podcast to do that. Are you running a podcast that doesn't have very many followers? Do you not actually have sponsors, but you want imaginary sponsors, but you're afraid that the premise of doing an imaginary sponsor has been done to death? Well, come on down to Joe's Fake Imaginary Sponsors Company. Here at Joe's Fake Imaginary Sponsors, we come up with imaginary sponsors that have probably never been come up with before. And we make you sign a legal document letting you know that in case it has come up before, you can't sue us. But no, we really go to the next level to think of an imaginary sponsor that no other real podcast that maybe is pretending to have sponsors has come up with before. Here's an example of some of our work. Sandra Robinson's Lighting Fixtures Company. That's possible. It's that sounds somewhat plausible that there's a woman named Sandra Robinson who had a dream. She looked up at her lighting fixture and she said, "You know what? As soon as I saw these lighting fixtures, I said to myself, that's my passion. Some people paint, other people sing, still other people podcast. My passion is lighting fixtures. If I see a lamp and it doesn't have the actual lamp, if it's just the light bulb and the lamp is broken, I have to do something. I have to do something! And so I set out to learn everything I could about lighting fixtures. I went to a exotic temple in a Far Eastern country that is never really named and is fictional, but is meant to kind of remind us of Tibet. But it's not Tibet. It kind of reminds us of China, but it's not China. It's a vague country in the Far East with a temple, and for some reason, one of the people running the temple is Liam Neeson. We don't know why, where he even came into this, but he's kind of the leader. I'm not entirely sure how he ended up there. And he teaches me the way. He taught Sandra Robinson the way of lighting fixtures, and at one point asked Sandra Robinson to kill a thief who had stolen a lighting fixture, and she said, "No, I don't kill. I have to find my own way." And so and eventually she and her mentor, the Liam Neeson character, had to fight, and she said, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. And he ended up dying in a tragic subway accident. And Sandra Robinson is also a superhero by night, as she covers her face with a lighting fixture, specifically one of those kind of stained glass lighting fixtures, kind of looks stained glass-ish. And she fights crime, and she's her superhero name is Gaslighting. Gaslight. That's her superhero name, which actually should be more of a villain name because gaslighting is kind of bad. And we've tried to talk to her about it, but she won't listen. But anyway, she's got a warehouse where she sells lighting fixtures, and you should head on down. You should head on down to Sandra Robinson's lighting fixture warehouse, where if you've got a light, we've got a fixture. Sandra Robinson's lighting warehouse. And that, my friends, is a perfect example of the kind of pretend podcast sponsor that you could have thanks to Joe's imaginary podcast sponsors company. Boy, that ate up a chunk of time. That was pretty meta, people. That was pretty meta. Now that's meta. I'm screaming into the mic again, aren't I? Yes, I am. I probably need to get a more expensive mic, don't I? Yes, I do. But this is I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm feeling good about this podcast. I can't believe it's already 48 minutes and 24 seconds. I can't believe we're already there. The time just kind of flew by. That was fun. It's kind of fun just reading, well, this is, I don't know. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Is it stand-up comedy? Technically, no, because there's no audience. But I feel like I said what I wanted to say. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I'm sorry if I did offend anybody. That was not my intention to offend anybody, and I hope I'm not intimidating. I hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings. I feel horrible if I hurt someone's feelings. I feel horrible and guilty if I never. That is never my intention to hurt people's feelings. That's why that's why I'm terrified of being in any kind of relationship, because I figured sooner or later I will just screw it up. Which is probably not the way to end a podcast, by casually explaining why I feel existentially alone. Probably not the way to go out, but nevertheless, here we are on our way out. So this was good. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Hey, if you a couple of things, if you like this and you maybe recommend it to a friend. I'd like to build my following. That'd be fun. I would really like to do that. So please tell a friend. Share the podcast, perhaps. Say, hey, I think you might find this interesting. Where 99.9% of the population would probably not, but you, friend, the friend, theoretical friend, I think would enjoy this. Also, I am doing a nerd-themed comedy show at Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant. This is a real live show, people. Real live show. And it is going to be, I'm looking it up right now on my iPad. Looking it up right now, it's going to be on June 20th at 5 p.m. And is going to be in person at Flappers. At Flappers. And then I'm also going to do a Zoom show at 7 p.m. same day, June 20th, for those of you that can't make the physical show. That is also through the Flappers virtual website. So that's what we're doing, friends, family. That is what we are doing. That is how we are living. And there you go. So thank you. Hope you're well. And I will talk to you soon.